problem we see at our clinic is delaying treatment. ED and low T can get worse.
Book your appointment right now. Call 614-300-7400. Prefer privacy? Book online in under 30 seconds at columbusmensclinic.com.
At our clinics, men's sexual health is the whole job. Look, I'm a normal guy too. I hate going to the doctor, but we've helped so many guys in here just like you. Even if pills have failed, our medical team is going to take the time to talk you through it. Same day in-house lab, and the treatments, well, they could change your life.
Your local medical team has your back. ED, low T, Peyronie's, size, and shape modeling. We tailor what works for you.
I'll get to the point. Can you imagine epic workouts and epic sex? Yeah, I said it.
A stronger you is closer than you think. We're available right now. Call 614-300-7400 or book in 30 seconds or less at columbusmensclinic.com. Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's go behind enemy lines in Wisconsin on the Badgers. John Steppe joins us, Wisconsin, covering the Badgers for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. John, thank you so much for taking the time. How did this go so bad for Luke up there?
It's a kind of multi-part answer to that a lot of different factors. You don't get to a situation where things are this badly with it being just one thing going wrong. You look at it, and I think the two most obvious things are position-wise at quarterback and offensive line. Obviously he has brought in some talented quarterbacks from the portal, and then each year you have quarterback injuries. Billy Edwards is, was kind of their big prized addition. Obviously somebody that Ohio State fans are familiar with from his time in the Big Ten. But, he comes in and he's been battling a knee sprain that he suffered in week 1. He briefly appeared against Maryland, and that didn't last long. And that, looking back, Luke has talked about how he probably should have done a better job of protecting Billy from himself there. So you look at the quarterback position, that's been a real issue. He hires Phil Longo to run the air raid for those first 2 seasons here, and that didn't really go too well. And you kind of wonder if that maybe hurt in terms of bringing in some of those top-tier offensive linemen that you really associate with Wisconsin. And this offensive line, they've had to do a lot of different, I think it's 6 different combinations of starters, either 5 or 6 different combinations of starters on the offensive line in the first 6 games. So you look at that, and that's an area that historically Wisconsin has thrived at, and they've really fallen short there. And then, the defense, they got bigger, more physical. Kind of the big impetus for that was, giving up 42 points to Iowa last year. That one really stuck with them. And, they are bigger, they are more physical, but didn't really result in any better of results against Iowa, losing 37-0 to your, cross-state rival is border state rival is quite the humbling loss there for the Badgers to be coming off of. So I would say it's a real assortment of things. It puts him in a position that he really hasn't been in his coaching career, and there is obviously quite a bit of fan frustration here in Madison.
Yeah, he is beloved here for a lot of reasons. As the interim coach here, he stepped up in a big way, despite not even 6-7 that year. But he stepped up in a big way. Beloved as a player, as a coordinator, all of it. He's a Columbus guy. There's a lot of people around here who thought eventually he was going to be the head coach at Ohio State. When he takes the Wisconsin job, it has to feel like you just pull off a coup because he was rumored at LSU and USC and Oklahoma and all these other places, and he goes to Wisconsin. You think, why not? Did he misinterpret what was capable there? Because it really feels like, for the folks who've been paying attention a long time, it feels a little bit like Bill Callahan when he went to Nebraska. And that's such, in terms of just changing what they are culturally and misreading the situation. And that's something that's so hard for me to wrap my head around, that Luke did that.
Yeah, it's hard, I think, for even a lot of people in Wisconsin to wrap their head around it. You look back at the tweet back in, toward the end of the 2022 season where they're announcing Luke Fickell as their next head coach, and you see how excited people are, and everyone kind of thought that this is the guy who can take them to that next level. Obviously Wisconsin has played in a lot of high-level football games, but, they haven't been at that Ohio State level. And, could Luke Fickell elevate them to that level that Paul Chryst couldn't take them to, that even Brett Bielema couldn't take them to? You can kind of go down the list. Gary Anderson in his 2 seasons couldn't take them to. So, that was a, thought in Madison. But obviously, I think the air raid really did, push him back a couple of years. And it puts him in a tough spot here in year 3 when, you have people who are, obviously expressing their frustration in the stadium, and also in terms of not, the ticket scan numbers for Wisconsin here have really not been good. So fans have also been making their frustration known in terms of not showing up.
John, do you think that he can dig out of this, or do you think maybe the better question is, will Wisconsin allow him to dig out of this?
That's the $28-point-something million question here in Madison. I think it gets more difficult as, you keep on taking these really tough losses. Chris McIntosh did go out of his way to comment after the Maryland game that he, gave his vote of confidence in Luke Fickell, and the chancellor gave her vote of confidence in Chris McIntosh, the athletic director. But it is a hard situation to sustain when you're beginning to lose the fan base. When the ticket scan numbers, which is how many people actually, show up through the turnstiles every week. Mm-hmm. For two of the first 4 home games, they had less than 50,000, according to numbers obtained via open records request this week. So it's a challenge in terms of he really needs to win over the fan base again if he can dig out of it. And, it looks harder and harder when you lose 37-0 to Iowa, especially Iowa, a rival that has historically had a similar blueprint for success. I previously covered Iowa before covering Wisconsin, and you see in terms of the things when Iowa is winning what they're doing and when Wisconsin is winning what they're doing, there's a lot of similarities. And to lose that game 37-0 after losing the previous year 42-10 kind of goes to show that this is a Wisconsin program that Luke Fickell has a lot of work to do in order to show the fans, and we'll see what the administrators think in terms of him being the right guy for this job.
Yeah, John, I didn't know. I'm looking at the Penn State job, and I'm thinking to myself, and I talked to a lot of folks over there, and they're like, look, they're not writing a $50 million check until there was no choice. Until it was like, yeah, we can't. And then all of a sudden you can find the money somewhere in the seat cushions. Can Wisconsin find the money? Because I'm looking at this schedule, and I don't know. There might be one more win on it, and they're going to be underdogs probably in every game they play the rest of the way, and in many instances, substantial underdogs.
Yeah, with this strength of schedule, it really brings up a great point where, this season in general, even if this was I would say, okay to good team, maybe not a great team, but just even if they were a good team, the margin for error was about the size of a postage stamp with how difficult this schedule is. Yeah. Because, 6 teams ranked in preseason AP and coaches polls on the schedule. Then, you look at it and, okay, yeah, you've got, wins with Miami of Ohio and Middle Tennessee, but then, you got Alabama on the schedule, your 3 unranked, your next 3 kind of, or I should say next 4 winnable games after those 2 lower tier or lower, prestige conference teams were Maryland, Iowa, Washington, Minnesota. And obviously the 2 of those that we've seen so far, they haven't even been competitive in. So it will be certainly an interesting financial situation to watch in Wisconsin. It obviously is a pretty big number to get to that 28. The thing that helps is that it would not need to be paid all in one lump sum. It would be incremental. So maybe that makes it a little easier to do the financial calculus from, but, we'll see what these, it'll be an interesting next few months to see what Wisconsin ends up deciding.
John, is there any scenario that they keep it close tomorrow?
I'm not expecting it. I've seen, obviously, from previously covering Iowa, I've seen Ohio State take care of business against some Iowa teams that I would say are quite a bit better than this Wisconsin team. So I'm expecting quite a one-sided result. Now, the one kind of counterpoint to that is probably their most competitive loss. I mean, this is very much relatively speaking, but their most competitive loss was against Michigan, which was one of their better opponents. So do they maybe play up to the competition a little bit, especially given Luke's connections to Ohio State? I think that, certainly is something I would not rule out. But even then, that kind of relatively competitive game against Michigan, which now has lost a little bit of luster with what's happened over there. That was a 14-point game. So, it's a challenging, even the path to remain competitive with this incredibly good Ohio State team. I haven't gotten a chance to see a ton of them, but I remember on the, watching after the game in Ann Arbor, I remember watching Minnesota game back in my hotel room. And what I've seen from this Ohio State team, this could certainly be a one-sided affair tomorrow.
Hey, man, appreciate your time and your expertise. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of both today. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure, and a pleasure every time I'm in Columbus, too. So one of my favorite Big Ten cities.
Well, you're always welcome, buddy. Thanks for your time. We appreciate you. That's John Steppe, covers the Badgers for the the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Great stuff there. Great stuff for Kurt Signetti over at Indiana Football School. He learned it, and then he earned it. We'll get all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants.
The pervert and the skivvies.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Dormar, you're planet hero.
When your furnace or air conditioner is broke, we come out that same day. Dormar, home the Tin Man.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and a multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Anthony. Wouldn't you want to drive into the new season with a brand new Honda from Germain Honda of Dublin? You can lease the 25 Honda Accord LX for just $199 a month or finance at 3.99% APR. Or the 26 Honda CR-V LX all-wheel drive, leasing from only $319 a month or finance from 4.99% APR. car. These fall deals are fantastic. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or you can shop online anytime at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Away game this week, but that just means you can make the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus your home for Saturday football. Join the fan for the tailgate show and then party with us with the ultimate watch party. We have football contests with amazing prizes. There's wall-to-wall screens, ticket and memorabilia giveaways, and unbeatable game day food. Can't wait to see you at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook on Saturday. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey guys, it's Bobby Carpenter here. Are you feeling low energy, trouble focusing, less interest in the things you used to enjoy? How about this? Less strength. It could be low testosterone. Affinity Whole Health is offering free labs to check your testosterone levels. These labs, they're normally $99, but in the month of October, they are free. Sign up now at feelgreatcolumbus.com. Learn why I and thousands of other men trust the experts at Affinity Whole Health. Go to feelgreatcolumbus.com and feel like yourself again.
With business banking, Tel Ohio Credit Union takes it personally. That's why they are the #1 SBA lender among Ohio credit unions. You are a member, not a number. That's the Tel Ohio difference. Visit telhio.org/business.
Certain restrictions apply. Tel Ohio is open to all in central and southwestern Ohio. Federally insured by NCUA.
Treat yourself to a new ride from Coughlin Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Get 0% on a new 25 Kia EV6 or 26 EV9, or get up to $11,000 off MSRP. Get 1.9% on a new 25 Telluride during the Kia Fall Sales Event. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Based on 2024 retail sales, 0% for 60 months and 1.9% for 48 months equals $1,667 and $2,165 for 1,000 finance through Kia Motor Finance. Not all will qualify. Manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. Ends 10/31/25.
Dormar, your kind of hero.
Finally, fall is here. The leaves are changing, the air is crisp, and the cooler temperatures are a welcome relief. But as those temperatures continue to drop, it's also a reminder that winter is just around the corner. We know it might feel a little early to start talking about freezing temperatures and snow, but now is the perfect time to make sure your roof is ready. Before the winter weather hits, wouldn't you like the peace of mind that your home is protected? If you're unsure about the condition of your roof or just want to be prepared for the months ahead, call the professionals you can trust at Newman Roofing. With over 30 years in business and 3 generations of Newmans in the roofing industry, we're dedicated to educating you about your roof so you understand exactly what's happening. We believe that an informed homeowner can make the very best decision for their needs. Give us at Newman Roofing a call today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Let Newman Roofing help you prepare for winter the right way.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Bengals have some hope, thanks in part to Joe Flacco. Just 9 days after being traded by the Browns, the 40-year-old Flacco threw 3 touchdowns to lead Cincinnati to a 33-31 comeback win over Pittsburgh last night in Ohio's Queen City. Evan McPherson nailed a 37-yard field goal with 7 seconds left to lift the Bengals to 3-4 on the season. Cincinnati got some good news Thursday as the NFL Network reported Joe Burrow's recovery from turf toe is on schedule for a mid-December return. In college football, number 1 Ohio State's at Wisconsin tomorrow at 3:30. Hear that game on the Fan with coverage Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. On the ice last night at Nationwide, the Avalanche beat the Blue Jackets 4-1. Colorado scored 3 in the second. Blue Jackets are 1-3 on the season. They'll host the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow night at 7. This update's sponsored by Behind the O. Buckeye fans, Behind the O is now in the App Store. Free for fans, NIL for athletes. Download Behind the O in the App Store today.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Tim May coming up in about 28 minutes from now. Time now, though, for college football learned and earned.
Bishop and Friends present Learned and Earned. What we learned this week and who's earned a drink.
Sponsored by Go Brewing. Visit gobrewing.com/thefan and claim your buy one, get one free 6-pack of Go Brewing.
I'll tell you who's earned it, and that is Kurt Signetti. $93 million. He will see every single penny of it on an 8-year deal that pays him over $11 million a year annually. This is happening because Penn State fired James Franklin. And so It's twofold. That's not totally fair. It's because the timing of the firing of James Franklin and because of what Cignetti has done at Indiana. Those two factors have led to a $93 million extension for Cignetti. Indiana is now a football school. Full stop. That's what they are. They see the opportunity that's there, and they're all in on it, and they've got some boosters who are mobilized and are throwing money around. I don't know if this can be what you expect forever with Cignetti at Indiana. My hunch is that this will taper off at some point, but you cannot argue with what the man has done in a little over a year and a half since he's been there. I have eaten as much crow as I can eat on this. The dude can flat out coach it. He can flat out coach it, and he's an expert in program building. He had a message. Do we have that? He had the message for the Indiana folks.
My wife, Manette, and I love Indiana University, Bloomington, the state of Indiana, the people we've met. We have very strong feelings about President Whitten and Scott Dolson. And, we've accomplished a lot here in a short amount of time, but still have a lot of work to do. So I couldn't be more proud to be a Hoosier, and I plan on retiring as a Hoosier. And the way that this state has embraced us and our success in football has meant more to me than anything else. So I just wanted to get on camera and let you know that Curt Cignetti is going to work daily to make Indiana the best they can be.
That's amazing. He even went third person. $93 million. You can go third person.
Just like The Rock.
It's amazing.
Curt Cignetti's here to stay. Curt Cignetti's going to win. Curt Cignetti doesn't give a damn about the Penn State job.
How many coaches will get raises based on the jobs that are open? Penn State, if Florida becomes open, you're going to have a lot of 8-figure coaches.
Yeah, there's probably a few here. South Florida, Alex Golish is probably looking at
get
you.
A raise.
Yeah, there's a couple out there. The only way that could have been better is if he would have said the Sig said,
Yeah.